Your team's never had more visibility than they do right now. So, why is delivery getting worse? Welcome to the Dashboard Zone. All right, let's do this. Welcome back to Desperate Radio, where we talk about why work doesn't work, why Agile doesn't work, why a lot of things don't work. Spoiler alert, it's us. I'm Haas, and I'm a frustrated Agile coach who has seen it all good, bad, ugly, lots of ugly, but we've seen a lot of good too. And today we're going to talk about, drum roll please, dashboards. What the heck are we talking about? So your teams, they seem on paper that they're ready to take on the world and solve world hunger. But when it comes to delivery, things are getting stagnant. Why is that? Recent state of Agile survey data shows something that should stop everyone cold in their tracks. The majority of teams report full visibility to their pipeline, aligned tools, clear dashboards, and yet more than half of them are actually not delivering. And the number is trending down, not up. It's worth noting that this is survey data with smaller sample. However, it does track with everything that we've seen, us coaches and experts in the field, with a lot of stuff that we see in every single day of Agile implementation, or Agile theater, as a lot of people call it out there. Teams are measuring the wrong things. Velocity, burndown, story points. They're not important. They are important. But if you're measuring them and not knowing what to do with them, you really are in a dead sprint. So the data exists. The data does exist. The decisions don't follow, though. The dashboards become status quo. They become a goal just to fill in instead of an actual signal of what you need to do to steer the ship back where it needs to go. One of the biggest things that I've always seen, especially in SAFe, is PI planning, where after 2 days of PI planning, you have everybody is voting either a 5 or a 4. Rarely ever, and maybe I should explain what the voting is. At the end of a 2-day planning, what the teams are going to work on, we're talking 50 to 150 people, sometimes more, sometimes a little bit less, but it's basically a group of teams get together and they plan what they're going to build for the next 90 days. That's normally a 2-day event. Now you can just imagine that at the end of those 2 days, everybody just wants to go home. And we're going to cover that in another episode, but today we're going to talk about this particular incident where you have people asked, what is your vote of confidence that you can deliver the work that you said you're going to deliver in the last 2 days? Those folks are being asked, are you confident on a scale of 1 to 5 that the work that you built in the last 2 days that you said you're going to deliver over the next 90 days will be delivered? And people usually put up a 4 or a 5 if they're confident, but you can't put up a 1, a 2, or a 3 depending on your level of confidence. And rarely ever in my over 10 years of doing this, I can count on one hand how many times somebody voted 1. 0 times. I can count on one hand how many times voted a 2. 1 time. And I can count on one hand how many times somebody voted a 3. 2 times. This is not theater. This is real life, folks. I am telling you from my own personal experience that I've lived through this. I've never seen somebody vote a 1, except one time. It was Brent. He voted one time a 1 just to be an a-hole and just to joke around, just to bring some levity to the instance. But that's it. And I might have done it once too, also to bring levity. But I've never seen anybody vote a 1, that their vote of confidence in the work that's going to be delivered is a 1. And let me tell you, as an RTE at the time, as a professional expert in Agile. An RTE is a release train engineer. As someone who steers a lot of these sessions and planning and guide people through a lot of these practices, it scares me to see the level of confidence that these folks have in delivering stuff when they've had no prior history of that kind of success. I know what it is. It's mostly, everybody doesn't want to stand out, and they're burnt out after 2 days, after doing this for 2 days, whether it be online or whether it be in person. If people are burnt out, I get it. And there are ways to fix that. But that is one of the things that I've noticed that folks just do just to get out of the room after a couple of days. So I think another thing that I see is when folks do a retrospective and they do all the what went well, what didn't go so well, what should we work on next, and the kudos. The kudos and what went well always come up first. And great. I'm grateful for the folks that are acknowledging their team members. You're supposed to have that. And again, that's why coaches like us, even Scrum Masters, they're supposed to be local team coaches. They're there to guide the conversations. So to avoid finger pointing and avoid insulting someone, you should be able to guide the conversation where someone says, hey, this one thing that we worked on didn't go too well. Without saying that, hey, so-and-so, you messed up. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to point fingers at an individual that messed up. We're just trying to identify how can we work better? How can we deliver better? And the biggest thing that comes out of that dashboard, or that board rather, the retrospective board, is there should be line items that we're supposed to follow up on to improve our processes. And it rarely happens. One of my other favorite things, and I have to admit that I was actually guilty of this when I first started becoming a Scrum Master, is that tracking the velocity to see how well are we doing, and basically saying how many stories or how many items can we complete in a single sprint or a single event or a single PI, and then we show that we can work on 50 items in a single sprint, but we deliver like 2, 5, 10 at most, but we always commit to like way above that we always delivered. And I've often used that as a vanity metric to say, look how much work are we doing in a single sprint. And, you don't become someone that is an expert in a field without going through some of the failures and downfalls and pitfalls that I've been through. I don't ever claim to be the perfect Scrum Master or the perfect Agilist. I don't claim to be that I was the greatest Scrum Master that ever lived or the greatest RTE or the greatest coach, but I've had my own shares of bad practices, bad Agile, bad theater, enough to know how to fix them, not to go around them, because that's actually one of the pitfalls from having a dashboard. One of the results that people have from having a dashboard with a lot of signals on it, instead of actually trying to address it, what they do is they work around the restrictions. I'll give you another example. If somebody says, we have a lot of carryovers, a carryover is work that you're supposed to complete at the end of a sprint, but instead of it being completed, you just carry it over to the next sprint. That's what a carryover. And what do people do to avoid carryovers? Because that's something that I tried to track at one point. What some of the Scrum Masters have done in the past is that they mark the work complete, put it back in the backlog, recreate a new one, or do something to it. They basically fool the system to show the right numbers on the dashboard. And the dashboard looks beautiful. But there's a few numbers that don't lie. How much work was delivered? How happy is the end user? So you can try to cheat the system, but you're really cheating yourself out of being successful and being effective. So unless you actually put the effort and the time to do it the right way and, really acknowledge, well, why are we not delivering on time? Why am I putting a 4 or a 5 instead of actually saying that I don't have full faith in delivering this? Why are we doing that? So there's a reason that that's happening. And it's not an individual. It's a group of individuals who are practicing something wrong. And it's probably a misunderstanding. I have the fortunate skill, and it came at a great cost, of, again, being in good, bad, ugly theater agile, in all different kinds of agile. I have the fortunate pleasure to listen to a situation and identify within 20 to 30 seconds exactly what is wrong, or within the near vicinity of what is wrong and what needs to be fixed. So the first thing, and a lot, by the way, I'm not special. There's a lot of us out there that are like that. Brent is one of them. Sajin is one of them. A lot of my friends who are in the field are able to do exactly what I'm telling you right now. The first thing that we notice when somebody says, like, we have a lot of carryovers, well, probably the stories are too big. And then you start following that trail. Why are the stories too big? Well, they're probably written poorly. Okay, why are they written poorly? Because they were probably misunderstood in the first place. Which means that whoever wrote the stories, whether it's one individual or a group of people, weren't really sure what the ask is. The definition of done was not defined properly. How do we know that this user story, this ask, this project, this initiative, how do we know it's done? What is it supposed to behave like when it goes in the customer's hand? Somebody didn't ask that question. And I would not put this only on the product owner. I wouldn't even put it on the business. I would put it on every single person that touched that work. From a Scrum Master, to an engineer, to a product owner, to a business owner, to a portfolio manager, anybody that touched that work and didn't ask the questions on the clarity of what needs to be delivered is part of the problem. So let's talk about signal versus noise. Can we differentiate between output metrics and outcome metrics? I cannot answer that for you. You're the person with the information. As a Scrum Master, as a product owner, as an RTE, I should have that information. I should be able to know what my output is versus my outcome. I should be able to measure that. And we shouldn't be afraid of the bad result that we're going to get. We should use it as a signal to say, let's fix what's broken. There are 3 questions that your dashboard should answer, but probably doesn't. Are we delivering value? Are we delivering it faster? Do our stakeholders actually feel it? If your dashboard is not answering any of those 3 things, this is just agile theater. And as much as we want to have a dashboard or a report with a bunch of green lines on it because it makes us look good and it validates the work that we've done, I get it because I've been there. I've done the same thing. And I'm ashamed to admit that over 10 years ago, I used to fudge the numbers. And maybe that's not really the best word, but like basically, again, work around the restrictions so the dashboard and the report looks good. And that's really it came out of a good place. It came out of wanting to show, hey, the team worked really hard. Please don't discount their work. People working hard should not count against them. But delivering the wrong thing or not on time will count against them. And if you continue to deliver the wrong thing or continue not to deliver on time, then something has to give. And it's better to start addressing some of those changes now, some of those downfalls now, instead of somebody else making that decision for you. That's the truth. If you do an ART health check, an Agile Release Train health check, and you've got a bunch of reds and yellows and greens, don't let that scare you. Again, use it as your baseline to say, what do we need to focus on to fix first? And let's focus on that first. And those reds and those yellows should start decreasing after every ceremony after that. And the greens should start increasing. That's when you know you're on the right path. Even if it's just one green box, one green check, however you measure your success. Try it. Just try it. I challenge everyone listening right now or watching this in their next PI planning to write one sentence connecting their objective to their business outcome before you commit to it. One sentence in your own words and your own voice. Do not put it through ChatGPT. Do not write it the way you think your peers or your business or your RTE or whoever else wants to hear it. Write it in your own words. That's it. One sentence, and see how hard it is. That's all I'm asking. Just try it and build from there. Folks, like I said before, Agile's not broken. We are. We build dashboards and forget to ask, what were they for? Art health assessment is something that the Next You offers. You should check out the Next You below. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. If your org has the data, but not the decision, that's the conversation you need to have. Do me a favor. Drop your dashboard horror stories below, and I promise you, you won't be alone. I'll even see if I can share it on the show one day. That'll do it for us today. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Share this with somebody that might like it, might want to know more about the Next You, or want to hear something about dashboards, or maybe somebody that you want to prove to them, hey, this guy, he don't know what he's talking about. Let's show him what we really know about dashboards. I'd love to hear from you. If you have a counterpoint, please come on the show and talk to me. I get lonely sometimes. Once again, this is Haas, and this is Dead Sprint Radio.